Okay, I've got an extra RTG to run the large drill. I noticed the drill does take a lot more power out than just one RTG can handle. Even with 2 RTGs, it still shuts down for a few minutes. I managed to do some more cable, and that is a big job. And basically, the only way you can actually do it is by creating plastic. And plastic is a lot of work. You have to make as much nitrous oxide as possible. So nitrous oxide and carbon is what you actually need. The carbon's easy enough, but the nitrous oxide is very hard to get. Okay, well, I've got more tanks here. As you can see, I've used a lot. I used all of the earlier amount of Martian atmosphere that I actually collected, and a lot of the Martian rock. It takes a lot just to do one single tiny little bit of a barrel of nitrous oxide. Takes a heck of a lot of other resources. And unfortunately, I don't have enough tanks to keep all the other sort of resources that I created when you split down Martian atmosphere. The only reason why I put on hydrogen tank here is because I didn't want to sort of waste the water or the oxygen. Okay, so large refiner. I've got the 2 solar panels here set up running the large refiner, the 3D printer, and the now large version of the atmospheric extractor. I've got the 2 RTGs over there, as I showed you, running the large drill. The large drill does actually need to be moved before long, so I think I'm probably going to move it a little bit further north towards the habitat. But something I've noticed on the 3D printer's data, you can't make the open containers. I'll show you very quickly. So if I put resources, no, not resources, accessories. So you can make bright crate type 02. I have no idea why it's called bright crate. Small crate 03. Bright crate type 03. So that's a bright crate. Then a small version of it. Small version of the type 02. And bright crate type 02. So that's a large version of that. But there is no open crates. I've made one of these and one of these. I put this type 03 in the fair supply pod, and I've used this one to put potato seeds in. It's actually inside the habitat, but unfortunately I don't seem to be able to make, like I said, the open crates. These are just larger versions. I've already done that. I've done that. These I haven't done, but from the illustration they're no different. So I don't know if there's some way of actually breaking them open as in opening the lid, because that's what it looks like they actually have done to them in the crash. But I noticed in the lunar mission during the manned campaign that there was some of these that was open-ended open as well. This lid was off, and there's barrels inside. That's what I wanted to use them for barrels. Just to put barrels in so they didn't go rolling away. And also not clutter up the place as well. But containers there, there's nothing. Items, if I look through all, doesn't seem to be anything at all. Because these crates again, I don't know why those crates are actually separate from the other one. We'll roll down it. We'll go down the list. I don't seem to be able to find anything that's an open top container. There's one I've actually got selected, which is the bright crate type 02, which is like the large version, 1.7, 1.2, 1.2 meters. Very, very strange. I really just do not understand this. That's basically everything you can make on a 3D printer. So I'm going to make the large tank. On the large enough 3D printer, I don't mean on this one, but I could, you know, once I expand this one, or build a completely new one. But for some reason, concrete base. That looks like a 0G support base, looks like concrete. Do they use concrete on the 0G? I don't know. I suppose I could use a pallet. It's not technically what I actually wanted, but I suppose I could do a... It's iron and aluminium. Once I get the forklift truck, I'll be able to... Well, if I get the forklift, if I bother to get the forklift truck, if I do, I can lift it. Lift a stack of barrels with the forklift truck. But of course they'll go spilling over the place, so... Is there any real point? No, I don't seem to have to find... Is that an outer airlock door or an inner airlock door? Looks like an airlock door, but never mind. Yeah, there's only 4 containers I can see. So the only answer is to do a pallet. I suppose it's easy enough. Where was it again? It was here somewhere. Pallet, pallet, pallet. There we go. So a pallet with cage. So not just a flat pallet, it'd be a cage around it. I could put barrels in there, I suppose. Put it down. Just somewhere so I can just put them so they're not going to roll off. Or clutter up the place, like I said. So I had aluminium 50, aluminium 55 and iron of 50. That's easy done. Take splitting rock down into iron oxide and aluminium oxide, and then obviously get silicon oxide as well. But that's doable. But that is, well, like I said, you don't make the buggy either. You can make all these other things from Europa. Europa suit. Also the wet, well, not the wetsuit, it's called the dry suit. So you can make all those things from Europa, but you can't make the buggy. They become vehicles. You can make the manned aerial transport, the MML, manned cargo transport, the forklift, like I said, the buggy, and something that you can't use at all. You have manned manoeuvring unit, which is for 0G manoeuvring. What's the point in giving me that? I don't understand that. But for some reason, I cannot make open, so I have to make those pallets instead to keep the barrels all in one place. So each mining site I'll do a pallet instead of an open container. That's the answer. Right. Yep. With the MME one. Well, I can't print one anyway, I don't have enough resources. Okay, so that's basically as far as I've got right now. it is now, if I can actually see the clock. No. Oh, I can't actually see the clock on that side of the... It is 1857. There we go, found it at last. So that's 24, 25, 26, 27, about 20. No, so it's 24. 24 hours would be 14:30, so it's 18, so it's another 4 hours. So that's 28 hours. So 20 hours on the Martian surface. And I've got 4 large, well, 4 medium resource tanks, a large refiner, a medium sized, well, a decent sized modular printer, the large extractor, atmospheric extractor, the large drill, an extra cable rail, obviously, which isn't really worth mentioning, and 2 RTGs. So all the original equipment except the 2 solar panels is now gone. It's defunct. Because I'm still using this junction box, obviously. I'm not going to just make a junction just for the sake of it. But my radiation levels has increased by quite a lot. I got caught outside a number of times. Yeah, it's still... At this rate, I believe about 4 RTGs to drive 1 large drill, but it could be the fact I've only got 1 cable attached. So I don't actually... Let's just have a look at the battery. That's got 20 watt hours, which wouldn't run that the actual drill for very long, if at all. But that has 0 watt hours in it. So I'm wondering if it charges them up one at a time. As in, it fills up one battery and then it spills over and fills up the next one. Which isn't the way that the solar panels are, because they've got a panel for each battery. That's what it looks like. The RTGs have 2 batteries, well, 2 main battery banks, but you only need 1 cable connector to drain both of them, because it charges one up, then it charges the other one up, whereas the solar panels have a battery for each panel, so you do need 2 cables connected to those, not to drain both batteries at the same time, if that at all. So putting 2 solar panel connectors and then another 2 on the other panel into the junction box means you can draw on all 4 batteries. Whereas the RTG will work with just 1 cable from each of the RTG connectors. It's a bit weird. So you don't need both connectors used. But on the solar panels, it's best if you do that, because otherwise you're just draining 1 battery at a time. That's what it looks like to me anyway from using them. And I don't know why these have always got 2 battery connectors, 2 power connectors themselves. I don't understand that. Unless it collects them faster, collects, you know, that as an atmospheric gas. Just seems to sort of don't seem to make much difference, to be honest. I've got an extra cable, but I'm not really looking forward to make any more plastic, which I'm going to need to do quite a lot of. but it means throwing a lot of stuff away, which I might need at some point, just because of the lack of storage. And I could do some more barrels, but then I'd have them cluttering up the place. So what I'm going to do, so that's what I'm going to. I'm going to put this in place. I'm going to make a pallet just to stand there near the tanks, alongside the 3D printer, somewhere in this area, just to put the barrels. Well, I'm not actually using them. And these large versions of each of the machines, they're handy because you can just put your barrels on them. So this one will take 5 barrels. The drill over there, the drill, will actually take 4 barrels at a time. So that's quite handy to get rid of your empty barrels. Just fill them up and then fix them into here. So I'll definitely need more resource tanks. Oh, another one. Yeah, these solar events seem to be coming a heck of a lot, far too often. I don't know what the thinking was behind all these solar events. I understand having them at sort of midday, when you're actually not quite as far south or north as we are right now, but here, because the sun's quite low, it's got all the extra atmosphere. It isn't just as if it's overhead, so it's got all the atmosphere to come through. Because it's so low, it's got a lot more atmosphere to come through, so it shouldn't be as bad as if you're at sort of like the equator. The equatorial region would be far worse, especially at midday. But here, it shouldn't be as bad. And it doesn't help that you've got this sort of dark patch here permanently there. And there's no notifications, there's no warnings of weather or anything else down here anymore. I mean, it's quite... yeah, I mean, the weather is quite bad. It's not too bad now, but it has been really bad, and I never got any warnings about it. Which negates the whole point of having notifications here. And this is blocking out any notifications of when I'm going to get a solar event. Let's all look upwards. But never mind. Right, so I've got empty barrels on here, except these two at the end. I've got silicon and silicon oxide. And I've got at least, I believe, another couple of barrels back in the supply pod there of silicon, but none of silicon oxide. But you never really need a lot of silicon oxide except when you're doing glass. So, got any empty barrels here? Yes, I have. I believe it was the iron barrel. I'll put this on here. Okay, so that's basically as far as I'm up to. I will endeavour to continue. But Right now I need to change the position of the mighty drill over there. Or very close to needing to change it. Just see. Yep, there's only 88 Mars rock left in that sector. And this area I believe is where the atmospheric processor is. Just check. Yep. That's still in the that's still at 1,283. Yeah, it's been pulling 130 lots out 5 times. At least 4 at least 4 lots of the 5 barrels I've actually taken out, and yet I've still got 1,283. So I haven't emptied it. In fact, from what I can tell, it's not actually gone down at all. I know full well it's out, so it's 1283 right now. And it's still 1283. Yeah, that is taking out. So it would appear that what I said at the beginning is obviously incorrect. You get different concentration levels of atmosphere in certain areas, which you would do, I suppose. Not quite worked out as like a square, perfect square, but certain areas such as near volcanic vents, you get higher atmospheric sort of gases, certain gases, carbon, methane, depending on what's underneath the ground as well, on the surface. So that's 1283, and that is definitely going. Yeah, it's still 10 at so 1283, so you can just leave your atmospheric extractor in a particular area and it won't actually empty the atmosphere, which is what I was afraid of it would actually do. But obviously it isn't like a rock, not like substrate or soil. So it's 1041 there, 88 Mars rock still, 1283. This is definitely going alongside me. So that's good to know. I didn't think it would. I didn't think it was. Well, it wasn't logical for it to empty a particular sector out of gas, because it just. It's like taking a cup out of a cup of water, out of a swimming pool or a river or a lake or even the ocean. It would just fill in. You wouldn't empty it in like a square, so that's fine. That's what I was afraid of, but. So as soon as that's finished emptying, I'm going to move it further north. I might move it here. Oh no, I keep bringing the map up, sorry about that. I think I'm going to move it to here, 4026. So I'll move it about here. So sector X48Y33. I'm going to take it here. Take both RTGs to keep it going. Then do a pallet and some barrels. So I can just take a load of barrels there and just put them into the pallet and just change them around and then bring them back with the buggy and empty the resources out into the tank. I've been thinking BAS should do a pub simulator where you get a bonus for doing New Year's Eve shift and you have to change barrels, because that's what it feels like. I've just been changing barrels over for like the last X amount of hours. But once I've got these, I see especially these main tanks here, the actual substrate full and the Martian atmosphere full, those two tanks here, I have 9,500 lots of resources. I can just start splitting stuff down and start actually making stuff then, because I like to put all this on the platform rather having it down here, but I don't know what's going to happen when these are full and if I need to move them. Shall I find out? How many have I got in here? 260. Oh, I didn't do that. Yes. Yeah, great physics. Yeah, thanks very much. No, that's because your character's head rolls all the time. Sort of bobs. You just take one lot out of this. It's not too much Mars rock to waste. I don't know if you can actually. I don't know if you have to empty them before you can move them. And when you have to use the MML to move them. At least I know I can actually move them if I get them full, so I don't have to empty them out. Let me just put these down here. This down here. Just for a moment. I'll have to find out before I actually fill any of these up. Can you? Yes, you can. You can actually lift it up, even though it's got 130. It's 43.3 kilos. That's actually twice as much. I think they're about just over 20 kilos. So you may need to. I may need to use the crane to actually do it. But at least I can do it. So that's one thing. You don't have to empty it out. That's excellent. That's good. Where the heck am I going? Maybe you should sort of move them away a little bit, actually. Just so I don't clutch up the place. Well, that barrel there, that lonely barrel there, has got argon on it. And argon is almost, it's actually just as precious as nitrous oxide. So I'm gonna wind up. I'm seeing what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have a tank, a resource store tank like these for every single resource there is, especially the rare ones. But saying that, I'm gonna carry on filling up these two to start with. So that'll just carry that'll just carry on full stop. So that's good. So you don't have to keep messing around and moving your atmospheric extractor. That's good. That is good. Okay, so I'll carry on. As soon as that joule's finished, I'm gonna move it to where I said I was. Okay.